There you have it. Delhi do the double over Punjab. We kept referring to the earlier game of 115 all out. Very different this time. Delhi bat first, put runs on the board, and Punjab, well, 142 for 9 looks very, very flattering indeed. They were just basically trying to get to the 20th over. Few lusty blows from Jitesh Sharma, few from Rahul Chahar as well, making the scoreline look very flattering indeed. It was Delhi's game for about 80% of Punjab's batting innings. Foregone conclusion, we're going to have a look at what it's done to the points table. But first, a quick hello to both Joy and Lisa. 142, Lisa, makes it look as if Punjab were very much in it and they've just lost by a few runs. In reality, they were not even there.
No, well, we met at the Combox and it was there. Like, how long were they planning to bat for? How close could they get? How close could they ensure that it wasn't going to be a significant loss just in case net run rate perspective? But at one stage there was a conference going on, I think with maybe 3 or 4 overs to go. And I was like, really? I think you guys have got this one in the bag. Like, let's just get on with it, guys. But yeah, Jitesh Sharma batted really well, and same with Chahar.
But that 5th wicket, 5 for 61 at the 8th over Livingston, that would have been the turning point. They lost wickets in a clump earlier, but as long as Livingston was there, Jitesh Sharma was there, Harpreet can bat, you were saying, okay, it's not such a big total. Someone needs to get in there. But Livingston danced down, and from there it was just how long you can bat.
Yeah, true, absolutely. I mean, given the fact that he knew what the ball was doing because he bowled himself and bowled pretty well, as fact, taking 3 wickets, he would have realized that he didn't need to take a chance that early. And I think he just couldn't hold himself back. And I think that was the wicket that broke their back, because after that, there was really not very much they could do. I mean, you look at it there. I mean, Liam Livingstone has just come in. He's not really 5 balls. He doesn't even know 4 balls, actually. He doesn't know the conditions that well. He knows that this is a pitch that's turning a bit because he's bowled out here. And he just dances down the track. It was just something that was very difficult to believe, but that broke their back. I mean, Bairstow getting out was important, but after that, I think Livingston was the turning point of the match.
And it was only the 2nd wicket to spin at that point in time. The earlier wickets had been taken. Initially, Anrik Nokia, coupled to Shardul Thakur, which was 2 in 1 over to end the power play. But then after the Mayank Agarwal wicket, which was the first one to spin to Axar Patel, then came the Livingston wicket. And then you could see the stranglehold of Axar and Kuldeep, 4 for 28 between them.
Yeah, and it was that period of, I think it was 4 for 8 or 15 deliveries. We mentioned that in the Combox. That was really the turning point. And then when you lose that many wickets at such a short amount of time, key players as well, obviously you go back into your shell and you're thinking, right, we just need to stop losing wickets. Let's see if we can stay out there. And then the spinners come into their own. So I was actually amazed that they got as close as they did. But an excellent performance by Delhi. I think at the halfway point they would have gone, it's a 50-50 call. And hence why all of us were kind of struggling. Who's going to win? Is it the red corner? Is it the blue corner? But their bowlers did a great job.
And both captains, remember, Mayank Agarwal decided to field first. Rishabh Pant clearly said he would like to have fielded first, so they know what to do, chase the total down in a must-win game situation. Well, the team that lost the toss has ended up winning the game. Yet another total has been defended, a trend we are seeing more and more in this part of the tournament. But as I said at the top, it's critical for what it does to Delhi's chances, because right now it's all about playoff spots. It's not about settling in, and we're going to come to that very, very shortly. But Joy, just looking at Punjab, they were also probably thinking of net run rate in the event, in the ultimate and probably obvious event that they lose the game. They wanted to get as close as possible. So you'd have to give credit to Jitesh Sharma and company down there.
Yeah, look, they wanted to keep themselves up with a mathematical chance, and they did a good job of that. I think they have a last match against Hyderabad, and they'll be thinking by that time almost everything will be decided. But if they have even a ghost of a chance, at least they'll know what they need to do in that last match. It may be really impossible. It could be settled 7 days before that, but they wanted to come close enough to give their team whatever little opportunity it could. And I think I was really Jitesh Sharma has impressed me at every turn. The way he's batted, Rahul Chahar again. I think there is the makings of an all-rounder in him. Remember, Ravi Shastri started his Indian career batting at number 11 and steadily made his way up. And I think Axar Patel is the same. He's looking better and better as he goes on. I think Rahul Chahar fancies his batting, and I think more than fancying his batting, he plays the situation well. And he tried his best to do whatever he could.
Yeah, this is what we can have a look at in terms of the batsman. 44 of 34 to Jitesh Sharma, 25 of 24 to Rahul Chahar. Again, he seems to be that kind of character with the dreadlocks and all who'd want to contribute whatever he's doing out in the field. But Jitesh, just to stay on him, Lisa, again, so many Indian cricketers we're talking about, often mostly the young bowlers who are coming up, a few young batsmen, but even in the keeping department, there is competition for the likes of Rishabh Pant and company in the future.
Yeah, and it's great to see, isn't it? For me, first time I've seen him throughout this IPL, had heard about his striking ability from domestic cricket, and he's been able to, every time he goes out there, he's having an impact. He's having a positive impact for his team, and he doesn't look out of place behind the stumps. It's not like there's been, a terrible game where he's fumbled or missed stumpings or missed catches, or there hasn't been anything that stands out. And when that happens, that means the keeper's done their job, because they only have to make one mistake and they're noticed. But if you don't really notice them, then they've done a perfect job. So the stocks are going very well from the depth of Indian cricket now, whether it be fast bowling batters and now wicket keeper batters as well.
But we had a little bit of a discussion in time trying to pick our one individual who we felt would have made the greatest impact on this game. There was, of course, Jitesh Sharma himself in a losing cause. Sarfraz started things at the top, but you cannot ignore your best individual figures in the tournament. 4 and without a doubt, Shardul Thakur is our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. Omnigel, India's #1 pain recovery gel brand, not only gives quick relief, but also recovery from pain. No dard for fans. And this is the stage in the tournament. There could be lots of dard. We saw the passionate Delhi fans, the passionate Punjab fans. And I think with all the Omnigel, Lisa, the Delhi fans will be feeling so much better and so relieved. Really, that's why it's so important.
Yeah, and credit to Shardul Thakur as well, simply because there has been discussions about his effectiveness moving from Chennai to Delhi, bowling maybe, having to operate at a different phases in the match, being asked to bowl in different situations and not kind of producing the results that we're used to seeing him do for Chennai. So he's turned it on at the right stage of the tournament, especially if Delhi are going through. So great performance for like I said, I think I do feel whilst Liam Livingstone's wicket probably swayed the game to Delhi's favour, I thought Thakur's the 2 wickets in that over just about put a nail in Punjab's coffin.
Yeah, two sort of a tale of two halves for Shardul Thakur. As Lisa mentioned, end of the power play, same over, couple of wickets, big wickets, Rajapaksa and Shikhar Dhawan. And then, of course, coming just when things were looking as if there could be a few heart flutters for Delhi with the lower order, he said, okay, I'm here, picked up 2 more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's important is that Shardul works well with pitches that slow down as well. He's very useful in pitches like that. He doesn't need the pitch to give him a lot there. He, bowls cross seam, bowls the slow ball well, has a certain amount of variation, knows what to do under these conditions. So I feel as the tournament gets more and more into its business end, if Delhi is still around, Shardul will be a more and more useful asset. And I think that is what Delhi is looking at, saying that, okay, we managed to carry his non-appearance, literally his and Nokia's non-appearance the first part of the tournament, as long as he gives it to us in this business end of the tournament. And I think he's just beginning to show, and this is a very welcome sign for them. Now, all they need is for Rishabh to have one decent innings, Rishabh to really sort of fire, and Prithvi to come back, and this is a formidable side.
Yeah, but for the moment, I think we should celebrate the individual with his best figures. Shardul Thakur, without a doubt, our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. 4 overs, 4 for 36. He ensured that there was no dud for the Delhi fans. Well, with all that's happened there, a 17-run victory, which I think will be a little bit of relief for Punjab. How much of a relief? Only the points table can tell us, because the important numbers, along with, of course, PTS, is NRR. So for Punjab, minus 0.043. Yes, it's down, but not down by too much if they had been 70 all out. Delhi plus 0.255, Lisa, with 14 points. Now, if that cluster is there on 14, they're looking very healthy at the moment.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? And, it's also a psychological boost just to be in the top four, just to get there and be in that situation. And we were talking about how whoever wins today, destiny is in their own hands. So you could see the relief in the dugout, the coaching staff, they very relieved, very happy. And that net run rate, positive it is, just gives them a little bit of a buffer, doesn't it, really?
Well, so we know, yes, in terms of net run rate and everything, Delhi, let's just assume now, Delhi lose their last match, Bangalore lose their last match, Kolkata could get to 14, Punjab could get to 14, so that's 4 possible teams on 14, and Hyderabad, with 2 matches to play, could also get to 14. So there's a possibility, Joy, and not an unreal one, of 5 teams on 14 here, which is where everything comes down to net run rate, because there's really only one spot up for grabs now.
Yeah, and if that net run rate comes around, then the 2 teams who have the strongest chance are Delhi and Kolkata, because Delhi is sitting on plus 2.255, Kolkata is on plus 0.16, which is not bad at all. Both these teams are strong, but remember, if that has to happen, that really means that Hyderabad is winning their last 2 matches. That's the only way that can happen. And if that happens, I suspect Hyderabad will be climbing up as well, because they have 2 matches to improve run rate. So there's a whole lot of things to think about, but at least Delhi say, we win ours, there's very little chance. The only people, if we win ours, who can catch us are Bangalore. And the difference between ours and Bangalore is so high that it's almost impossible for Bangalore to catch us if we win ours. And besides, we'll know that.
What it does tell you is that Chennai and Mumbai, who are the only ones who have ease next to their name, and if you go back to the fact that we had an 8-team tournament last year, it means that at this stage of the tournament, everyone bar 2 are very much still in the thick of things.
That's always the case, isn't it? Really, the last week, even the last weekend, tends to come down to everyone still has an opportunity. So, yeah, I guess 2 extra teams, still 8 teams vying for qualification. I'm still surprised we haven't seen a queue next to the other 2. Like, there's still only 1 queue. Like, why are we not seeing Lucknow and Rajasthan with a queue?
Because what you can have is a situation where Delhi win theirs, Bangalore
lose,
and
right?
they win by such huge margins that
correct.
One of
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely Delhi. Delhi already plus 0.255. They can definitely win their last, get to 16. Lucknow's has slipped a little bit, so they lose their last match by whatever margin. Delhi will definitely be ahead of them. So so it's basically Bangalore. In order for the queue to come, I think the entire key lies, Joy, with Bangalore. They need to win that last game by a huge margin in order for Rajasthan or Lucknow or both to slide down that much. That's why they've not got a queue yet.
Wow.
It's just
it's crazy.
But that's the beauty of the tournament. That is, no matter which way you slice it, cut it, dice it, you say, okay, this tournament's decided, this is boring. You'll end up with this sort of complete cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah, but just for Delhi, in terms of summing up the entire victory, problems for Punjab, yes, but very much still in it, not completely eliminated. But Delhi were going through a phase when you've already not started considering them. We were talking Rajasthan, Lucknow, Gujarat, Bangalore were always being talked about as a 4th team. Now Delhi, because of what they'd gone through for a few games, are suddenly putting their hand up, minus Prithvi Shaw, to say, we are contenders and we're leading contenders, Lisa.
Yeah, and as we've kind of said throughout tonight, is it's almost like they're switching on at the right stage of the tournament. Mitch Marsh has been a huge inclusion for them, and what he's been able to do with the bat in hand. Same again with last game, and then also tonight. He was one of the reasons why they got to that total. And then their spinners are world class. And when you start playing on pitches that are assisting the spinners, and you've still got your pacemen that are doing well, it's a good combination. I mean, the one thing that they're missing, and Joy mentioned it as well, is Rishabh Pant. And it seems like the skippers of a lot of the sides are just struggling to find some runs. So he's got one more opportunity to get it right and turn it on.
All right. Well, we've had a look at the points table a few times. Maybe before we wrap up here, let's have a look at it one more time, and I'll ask a pointed question to both of you. We've looked at lots of scenarios, lots of permutations. But at this stage, Joy, are we looking at the top 4 as things stand?
I have to say we are because remember, by the time I think Delhi's playing their last match against Mumbai is out of qualification. I think they'll give it a whack, but I don't think Delhi will fancy their chances. Definitely fancy their chances.
The other reason, Lisa, before I get your yes or no, is that the order of matches, Delhi will know what Bangalore have done by then, and therefore they will have an opportunity if it's about run rate or if it's just about the points.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're looking at the top 4, and it's only because Delhi is starting to kind of switch on, whereas you look at Bangalore and there's a lot of people that have been frustrated with their batting, that it just hasn't quite kicked. The top order hasn't really found any kind of groove or rhythm. So Delhi are peaking at the right time for mine, hence why I like this top 4.
Well, there you have it. 2 new franchises, the winners of the inaugural tournament and the team who we've been tipping to win for so many years, but they've just not done it. So those we feel could be the top 4. People are looking at us strangely going, why have they been talking about all the scenarios for the last 20 minutes? Well, that's the beauty of the tournament, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen. But Delhi certainly have put themselves in a very, very good position. And that's where we stand right now. But what lies ahead? Yes, what lies ahead is a match that you could look at it saying, at least, obviously Mumbai have nothing at stake. Hyderabad will be wanting to play the first of 2 games and get the first of 2 back-to-back victories at the end to even have a sniff. So therefore, while Mumbai obviously are there to play party spoilers, Lisa, let's talk about Hyderabad first. They need to get their 11 right, and they need to get their captain scoring a few runs finally.
Well, you look at the last 2 games that they've played in, 120 odd, both occasions. You're not going to win many games when you're going to score something like that, whether you're batting first or chasing. So runs at the top. Kane Williamson, you just want him to do well. A world-class player like him, you want him to show what he's capable. Just hasn't got going really in this tournament. That's why it's hard for me to see how they could possibly win their last 2 games. But if they can get a decent total, we know that they've got some good pace bowlers. Umran Malik, Natarajan, Sundar is back in their fold as well. So, and I think they really did miss Washington Sundar and Natarajan in that period of time when they were both injured. So, but for me, it's the runs. They have to get runs.
I mean, surely they'll be all sitting in a huddle, not just all these players, but the classy Kane Williamson with Brian Lara and Murli and Tom Moody and Dale Steyn and all these guys getting their heads together and saying, is there something tactically we need to do? We've suggested maybe Kane Williamson down at 4 or even 5. Could be a possibility, Joy?
I think they'll have to look at changing that because, see, it's their bowling is performing for them. I don't think their bowling is too much of an issue. It's their batting. And Abhishek Sharma has actually got runs at the top of the order. Rahul Tripathi and Abhishek Sharma have given them runs. Markram started well, just tailed off a little bit. But I think that's where the big problem is. The big problem you're sitting out there is Kane Williamson. And look, Rahul Tripathi has opened an occasion. It's not that he can't open. But here's the point. If you open with Rahul Tripathi, where really do you bat Kane Williamson?
I think he's going to start to slide, isn't he? Maybe if a wicket falls early, he'll come in. But if they get off to a good start, he may be like the first time Mayank Agarwal.
Mayank Agarwal, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just will have the pads on and go, not required, not required, not required. I think that's the only way potentially. I'm, looking at that side. If we can bring it back up again, they were hoping that Abdul Samad was going to kind of be the finisher for them and kind of score those runs. He didn't work, so that's why they've kind of been chopping and changing a lot.
Yeah, and this is one of those scenarios. Yeah, go ahead, Joy.
One of the things that they can really look at, and I'm being honest here, is give Washington Sundar a place at the top. Just give him a whack. He's wasted down the order. He's a decent bat. He can really clobber it. Okay, first 6 the field is in. Give it to him, see where he goes, and then you can decide for yourself what happens out there. Remember, one of the reasons they're in the situation they are in is that Washington Sundar missed substantial amounts of time. And he's really their balance because every team is missing that key all-rounder. You need that key all-rounder so that you have the chance as 6th bowler. So basically, Washington Sundar and to a lesser extent, Abhishek Sharma gives them that option. Okay, you've got 2 bowlers you can bowl with as well, you can bat as well.
But they haven't bowled Abhishek Sharma. That's been the issue as well. He's been sitting there and you're like, I think maybe halfway through he bowled maybe 1 or 2 overs. That's about it.
I was actually going to be a little more blasphemous, just to throw it out there, just to play devil's advocate and suggest that Kane Williamson just keeps company of Lara and Murli and company, and Glenn Phillips opens the batting.
Big one, big call, but yeah, why not? They have nothing.
Who's captaining then?
Puran, captain of the West Indies.
Yeah, international captain.
Okay. I like it. I like where you're going.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm a huge Glenn Phillips fan. I've seen the first time, the first day ever I met him, he was walking off the field at the CPL having scored 100. And literally my first meeting with him was an interview on the sideline having scored 100. And, it's just, I could see why is he not, that's the time he was not getting into the New Zealand team, Lisa. And we were wondering why not? And he finally made it.
Yeah, no, he is an incredible striker. But that's been the issue for Hyderabad for so many years, hasn't it? It's almost like your internationals, you just can't move them. It was David Warner, Johnny Bairstow, Rashid Khan, and Kane Williamson sometimes. I'm trying to think who the other 4.
They had Nabi. They had Nabi as well as an option.
Yeah. So, maybe if you look historically, last year, they dropped David Warner from captaining. He wasn't scoring enough runs. They got him completely out of the squad, even turning up to the ground. Yeah, if they're going to kind of keep it kind of a theme going that, look, we're going to be harsh on our skippers, then I guess Kane Williamson maybe goes. But that's a big call.
Yeah, but they've got enough. If they have to make a big call like that, they've got a big support staff to do that. And they've got to do something different. I mean, as I said, that was too radical a call. One thing for sure, maybe moves down to number 4 or becomes the floater. We shall see. They're playing against a team who could be very dangerous because, again, nothing to lose, everything to play for, have a bit of fun. One extra addition to the squad, Uttarakhand pacer Akash Madhwal joins the squad. Always like to blood youngsters, look to the future. But what about the 11? We saw Tristan Stubbs make an appearance in the last game. You need to keep your big boys like Tim David, Ishan Kishan, Rohit Sharma, etc. Joy, do you see any radical little changes for Mumbai having a bit of fun?
I would like to say that, what has Arjun Tendulkar done not to deserve at least a chance to bowl out there in the tournament? With the tournament decided, I'd say that also Tristan Stubbs, give him a bit of a go. Give your new guys a go. What can you do now? All you can do is say, who are the guys worth retaining and really pushing for next year? So this is really a training ground. I would still have Rohit as captain because he wouldn't want to walk out with the team in a situation like this. But otherwise, if anyone has a niggle or even part of a niggle, just let them go home. Let them relax. It's not worth it. And give the new kids a chance. I mean, that's how it will go. And I think they can play some nice, relaxed cricket and they might swing a few surprises.
The one big positive for them, Lisa, along with Tilak Varma, in the middle order has been the two youngsters they've thrown in recent times, Ritik Shaukin and Kartikeya Singh. So both of them have been impressive. So I'm sure they'll give them a run till the end of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shaukin actually, apart from his bowling, was able to do the job with the bat as well. So yeah, and it's a bit what Chennai were doing as well. They started to kind of see where players are at. You're never a coaching staff can never create what they're about to experience in the IPL. As much as you think you can. So here's a perfect opportunity to test them out, see how they cope with the pressure, the noise, the atmosphere, the cameras, the lights, everyone knowing that people are watching them, millions and millions of people watching that game. That plays with your mind. You can look good in the nets all you like, but can you actually do it out in the middle? Here's their chance.
Yeah. The only other person who plays with your mind is on our panel tonight. He sets quiz questions and confuses people, makes them think harder than they need to. Joy, what was your question for today? Remind us, and the answer as well.
Yep. Okay, which fast bowler played more than 50 tests all under just one captain?
I actually was thinking, is it a fast bowler who was captain, like an Imran Khan or a Kapil Dev?
That's
where I was
going about it. No,
yeah,
I didn't take that possibility because that
okay.
But even though they would have played under somebody else, these guys played under only themselves. And
Right.
one guy. And look, there's Merv Hughes played under Alan Border. Somebody informed me that it's likely that Antini and Steyn also played completely under. They played more than 50 tests under Smith, but I think they played tests under other people as well. So I think that's why they don't qualify. Whereas Merv Hughes, every match he played, Alan Border was skipped.
And what a wonderful relationship those two had together.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big man, Big Merv, always loved to see his antics with the ball on the boundary line. And even after retirement, when we see him going with fans to watch cricket around the world. What about our winner? Who is it who's guessed it first, quickest? And he's not going to get upset at us this time. You got it. We told you. Your name is out there. Read it once again. We've not ignored you. Joy, he tends to be a bit upset if he's lost or won.
Really? He's the one, is he?
Yeah, he gets on. He jumps on. He's competitive. He's feisty. We love him for that.
I like it.
Yeah.
You can share the love every now and again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You come across a lot of types of quizzes, Joy. He's one of those guys who'll put his hand up in the middle of a quiz. He'll say, no, actually, I'm not sure about this one. Mr. Quizmaster, can you please fix this?
Absolutely.
All right. That's what we have. We found a winner. We've got our Joy Factor question for the day. It's start of a new week. And a quick reminder that Cricbuzz Plus is where you have so much more on offer. Joy has given us a little taste of retro reels. That will be, of course, coming up. And then we will be having Match Party when we come to the weekend, because the weekend is the time we love to party, particularly Joy. And he leads the way in that. But one more quick reminder, points table is alive and kicking. Delhi have made it. They've got their 2 points. Punjab aren't out of it by any means. And we still are struggling to find a second queue. Rajasthan and Lucknow favorites to get there. Delhi, we think, a high possibility to make it Q. But lots to happen. Mumbai is next. We'll be there then. From Cricbuzz Live, from Joy, Lisa, and myself, that's all we have. It's good night.